Tom London Show is brought to you by Suzuki Rivonia, the home.
The Tom London Show, where 2/3 of the hosts love America.
That was rude. Hold on a moment, sir. The Tom London Show is brought to you by Suzuki Rivonia. Almost said Ravuki Sasonia, which is not the right place. Suzuki Rivonia, for goodness sakes, they're the home of happy customers. Now you can say the
Tom London Show, where 2/3 of the hosts love America.
Afternoon, Tom.
Yeah, there we go. Well, so we were going to have the team back together today. Hello to you, wherever you join us from, on the YouTube channel, the Facebook channel. Tanya was going to join us. It was going to be our first live show, Tanya, Alistair, and I, after a couple of weeks. And then Tanya had an emergency she had to deal with. So I thought, well, who can we talk to, Alistair? At short notice. And then I thought, well, you know what? Call my brother, Greg. Let's see what he's doing. He's a good stand-in. He's over in the United Arab Emirates, where it's, I think, the only way to describe that place right now is hot. So please welcome.
That's what you call a foreign reporter.
That's he's a hot in hot Abu Dhabi. Please give him a royal welcome out of Velterfred Park, my brother Greg. Hello.
Hey, how's it, Greg?
How are we doing, Tommy? How are we doing, Alistair?
Good.
And the missing link here is you. So as you tune into the show, don't forget you can comment underneath the video on the YouTube live video or on the YouTube comment section. And we will pick up the comments and run them on the show as we move our way through the hour. So I must confess, I had a whole hour planned where we were going to talk about Sodwana and my trip to Sodwana, and I loaded photographs and stuff. And of course, we'll have to wait until Tanya is with us, hopefully on Thursday. So that means my whole show went out the window. And then I think 2 seconds before we pressed the go live button, I was going, I have no idea. I've got no idea what we're going to talk about now. I've got no idea. What are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? Alistair said, let's talk about shootings. I said, no, I don't want to talk about shootings.
Let's talk about weather and the two different extremes we experience.
We can't get into trouble talking about weather. So over here in Johannesburg, it's frigid at night. This is
it's currently 18 degrees in Germiston.
I got to tell you, Alistair, until Thursday, I was quite happily single. Until Thursday. And then I flew. When did I fly back? Wednesday? I flew back Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Wednesday, I'm in Sodwana Bay Wednesday morning, shorts and a T-shirt. And I'm looking at the weather app for Joburg, and it says 4 degrees. Like, what? So I always got this thing like, do you take the warm clothes with you, and then when the plane lands, put all the warm clothes on? Or do you put all the warm clothes on first? What do you do, Alistair, if you're flying to a colder place?
If I'm flying to a cold... You see, I learned from Cape Town. Let's be candid here.
Yeah.
When I was living in Cape Town, wherever you went, you took a jacket with you, you took a hat with you, and you took a fleece with you.
Yeah.
And you had a T-shirt and the shorts, or a T-shirt and long pants, whatever. So that if the weather changed, you quickly put something on and you could deal with it.
Yeah.
If you're traveling, my biggest thing is start out light.
You sound like a real travel expert here. I like this. Let's get some music underneath you. All right, so Alistair Jameson out of Primrose Hill, Germiston's travel advice now. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Start out light. Carry something in a little hand carry bag, and when you need it, you put it on because it's getting chilly or whatever the case might be.
But I couldn't go from. What do you do when you got T-shirts and short sleeves on, and then you're going to arrive at... I put all my clothes on before. I sweated for 1 hour in the plane. I was like, sure, it's hot in here. Yeah?
Can you get that pilot to turn up the air conditioning?
Yeah, Greg.
I've done the trip a couple of times from South Africa to Egypt. So we would time our dive trips mid-June, July.
Yeah.
And so it would normally be the coldest day in South Africa in July, and we'd land in Egypt
the hottest day
in 45 degrees. So you'd jump a plane in your shorts, and then you'd... But what you realize is after a 10-hour flight, the only place you can go change is the toilets.
Yeah.
And after a 10-hour flight on a plane, it's not really the place you want to be standing with no shoes on
I know.
and changing.
I had this because I was doing the changing in the what's that place called, Richards Bay, the Richards Bay Airport, and it's very cute because they still got the old-fashioned toilets there. You know, most of our airports in South Africa, you walk into and they got very fancy, you know, the normal toilet. There they got the old ones from Builders Warehouse. They got they got proper old loos that you don't see in these. But Richards Bay, they got proper old loos. And a toilet cubicle's never big enough to change in. And then you got your suitcase there, and you don't want things to touch the floor. I was doing like acrobatic acts in the toilet cubicle, trying to get my clothes on, and then
You look like
yeah.
you look like one of those flappy.
I was worried more what it sounded like.
They have outside the garage, you know, with a air blower blowing through.
Something like that. But I was worried what it sounded like because you just heard thumping as I hit the wall and the door as I was trying to get things on. And then Richards Bay Airport's probably got one of the smallest waiting departure lounges. There are not enough chairs for everybody. So if you get into the queue first, you get a chair. And if you don't, well, you stand. And it's one of those situations where even if you see someone who's like standing on one leg, 120 years old, hanging onto the wall, you still don't give your seats up, and it's fine because they're not enough for everybody. I saw some things there. I saw this one lady, she came walking through without a suitcase and she came through the metal detector, and she was standing there. And about 10 minutes later, someone came around and said, "Excuse me," the lady comes on the intercom, "has any passenger forgotten their piece of luggage?" And then this lady goes, "Oh, yes, it's mine." Now, that wouldn't happen anywhere else in the world. If it was America, you'd get shot. The bag would get shot.
I worked at Heathrow Airport for 2 years, many years ago.
Yeah.
And the types of things, they would have an auction once a year of items that have been left at the airport, and you would be amazed at what people forget at the airport. So the 1 year there was a prosthetic leg.
Someone left their prosthetic leg at Heathrow Airport?
Yeah, explain that.
Oh, I can actually, because I've got a prosthetic leg story that would kind of make sense in that situation, and this is not scripted, folks. My brother will remember when I was managing restaurants, and there was a restaurant in Boksburg that we had on Rietfontein Road. And one day, a couple walked in to have lunch. And it was a guy and his wife. They parked the car in front of the restaurant. It was a quiet day. It was like a midday, a weekday. So the restaurant's not full. This guy comes in with his wife, sits down, orders a double brandy and Coke. She orders something, they order starters, and the next thing they get into a hell of a fight across the table inside the restaurant. You just hear him say, and there's all sorts of fighting going on. And she runs outside with the car keys to go home and leave him there. Now, this guy's got one leg. He got a prosthetic leg. And he runs after her into the parking lot. And they start fighting. But because he's got one leg and she's got two, she had the upper hand, so to speak. And she pushed him all the way to the palisade fence. And she pushed him up. You don't mess with the Boksburg, Tanya. Greg. Alistair, you'll know this from Germiston as well. You don't mess with these East Rand ladies when they're on fire. And she pushed him up against the fence. They must have had this fight before because she knew exactly what she'd do. She did a leg sweep, like a UFC leg sweep. And she knocked his prosthetic leg off. And it went flying across the parking lot. And then she picked it up and she ran to the car and she drove home.
Oh, that's nasty.
And all I could see, I watched this whole thing, and then I just saw this poor guy hopping because now his other leg was gone. And he was hopping, and then he hopped on one leg about 50 meters back to the restaurant. I felt so sorry for this guy. I said, would you like another brandy and Coke on the house? He's like, please. And so he sat there. And
surely if you're hopping onto the airplane, you realize you've left something in the airport.
I suppose so, unless his wife said, you don't make a fuss, eh? I don't know.
I think it was a spare.
But
a spare prosthetic? I've never seen anyone with a spare prosthetic leg before.
Don't Tommy.
Yeah.
It's like I've worked at them for years. If you want drama and you want, like a sad story, you go to Departures. If you want happy and funny,
Arrivals.
you go to Arrivals. Yeah, because at Departures, you see guys that are late, they miss their flights. They'll do things like throw trolleys through windows and slam computers off the tables. And
I got on
Arrivals.
Everyone's
you go
happy.
To Arrivals, and you can work it out. You see the families that arrive. You can even see some of the nonsense going on, like someone arriving, meeting a boyfriend or something.
Yeah.
Like
Scalums.
you can see that guy married. It's like drama.
Well, maybe you got an airport story for us or a plane story. We'll put it on. Put it in the comments section. I'd love to bash the stories around today. I got a few.
Talking those scallop stories, what about that Oceano sinking?
What's that got to do with scallops?
Well, there was a picture of a couple getting off a helicopter that had been rescued off Oceano. And they were going into the hotel where they were being dropped off to recuperate from the trauma of
and
being
the
picked
wife
up
was watching them on the news?
Exactly that. His wife was watching him on the news as he walked out with his secretary.
Oh, no. With a secretary. That must have been in the 80s.
Have you ever had to wear way too much clothes so that you can get on the plane because you're overweight in your luggage?
No.
You ever done that?
No.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've sat next to an overweight person before.
Malaysia and Indonesia, and I was a few kilos over, and they're like, no, you can't. So you just put clothes on like an onion, and you wear about 3 kilos of clothes.
I asked my brother to tell us the Kentucky Fried Chicken story just now. We will swap plane stories today. It looks like it's going in that direction. Let's see what you've got to say as you join us on the Tom London Show this Tuesday afternoon. Caden Mudrak says, hello. Hello, Caden, watching us on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Anita number 1 says, hey, hello, dysfunctionals. Margaret Guider's on board. Tanya is hiding. No, she was all set, and then she gave me a call just a few minutes before the show. Says, Tommy, I can't. I've got him. I said, that's fine. Heather Knickelbein says, hello, all the dysfunctionals. Glad to see you all. Marlene Falkenberg says, hi, everybody. Mandy Wilson is on board. Gail E. Mortensen says, greetings. My prayer for today is that the viewership footprint of the Tom London Show will increase in leaps and bounds locally, and more followers abroad will come on board, this elevating the show to a greater dimension. Amen. Amen. It's a lot of it's up to Zuckerberg and how many people the algorithm, which is our new god in media, allows, how many people the algorithm lets us get to. But it's growing. We're doing very well. I'm very happy. Thank you. Emily Hudson says, hi, my beautiful people. And to you, Greg. Love to see you all again. Happy hour. Sean Stratham says, it's currently 38 degrees in Ajman, but feels like it's 50. Look forward to flying into a cold Joburg next month. Whenever my brother comes to Johannesburg, the first thing he looks for is a bath, because there are a lot of showers in the UAE and not so many baths. That's the one thing in South Africa that we've got.
No, there are many houses here with baths.
My brother's got the only house in the United Arab Emirates without a bloody bath. when he and my other brother Nick can have about 3 baths, 4, 5 baths a day if he's having a good day. So when they came to my place when I was sick, boy, it was a train station to get to that bath. We were all lining up at the door, and none more eager than my brother Greg.
I hope the geyser could contain everybody's requirements there.
Well, you know that geysers don't. You've got to let it go and then let it get the temperature go up again. And it's a relay race. Who else we got here? Helen Mitvash says, I left London in snow in shorts, 30th of December, to arrive in hot South Africa the next day. I was ready. Laugh out loud. See, she got the shorts on. Anita says, hello, Greg. Nice to have you on the show. Mandy says, check out airport facilities before you fly. I've been lucky enough to find shower cubicles in places like Sydney and Dubai Airport, but general rule of thumb with travel, with a complete change of clothes and a small towel, spare socks, etc. when doing long haul travel. I'm a very good traveler. The laptop comes out at the right time. The watch comes off. I go through. I'm good. I'm good at that.
That's another question. When you travel, do you travel in shoes or do you travel in slops?
No, just comfortable shoes. Hush puppies. I hate to admit that. like saying I have a pair of hush puppies. It's like saying I'm 100.
There's a couple of things when it comes to flying that we almost conditioned to.
Yeah.
One is we got to have a big bag we check in, and we got to have a carry-on. We got to carry on. What I've kind of do is I minimize what I carry on the plane. Small bag. You got less to carry around. It's easier to get on, easier to get off. You don't need to carry all that stuff with you unless you're trying to carry all the weight. And then the other one is airplane food. I mean, I've never had a good airplane meal, never. And what happens is what I do now is, this is advice from a good friend of mine.
He takes Kentucky Fried Chicken on board with him.
Have a good meal before you get on the plane, and then just don't eat the plane meal, because I've tried that, but every time I eat before I get on the plane, and I sit there, and they come and they put the food, and you end up still in your little crouched little position, cutting away at this food, which is awful, and you still eat it. Like, you don't have to.
My brother got on a Kalula once, 5 or 6 of them, each with a lunchbox from KFC, and opened it up and stank the plane out.
I didn't know you could carry food onto a plane.
He was hiding it.
We had got the times wrong. We thought we had hours. So we were flying from Durban to Joburg, and we went into the KFC and ordered a box each of KFC. But we just got that box when we heard they called our names, final call. So we ran to the airplane with our 3 boxes of chicken. And I literally got to the plane and said, look, where can we dump this? And they said, no, you can take it on the plane. So the 3 of us walked down the aisle.
I don't know that would make you. That would not make you very popular on a local flight.
That whole plane smelled like. No, and we were all in different late. We weren't even sitting together. So we were dispersed.
So the smell was distributed evenly across the aircraft. You couldn't escape the KFC.
So sitting it on our laps, and the air hostesses made a point of, you can't have that on your laps when we take off. Can we put it up in the?
How embarrassing!
We can't have people flying around in the cockpit.
At least you didn't walk on with a Checkers packet, which I used to make a joke that if you fly out of Krugersdorp International, I mean, they call it Lanseria, but during Christmas time, you're likely to see families climb on board with plastic buckets and spades and their clothes in Checkers packets, and I always made fun of that. And then when I flew back from Durban a few weeks back, I didn't know what to do with my costume, and it went into it was in a pick and pay packets. I was desperate for a Woolworths bag that day, but there was just packets. Hold on, because isn't that what we do? I don't want to lose the Woolworths bag thing.
Yeah.
Because I think there's something that we do in this country. When we don't want something to look too cheap, then we put it in the Woolworths. Yeah, you put it in the Woolies bag. You go to Frontline Hyper and buy the stuff for the party, and then you arrive with it in the Woolworths bag.
No, this is what you do, Tom. Here
we go. Practical demonstration.
This is what you use. You get one of these goodness bags. It's like a material thing that looks pretty sturdy and sound. Yeah. And you shove it in there.
All right. Well, maybe I could use your goodness bag.
That's how they do it in Cape Town, Alistair.
Don't let him fool you. He's from Germiston. He's from Germiston. He just did some time in Cape Town.
But he's got Cape Town tendencies.
That's true.
Really? Have you spotted that? Is he more Cape Town than Joburg?
No, he's told us that today, with when you pack a warm jumper and clothes.
Yeah, that's right. He's been conditioned.
But just on the issue of packing stuff and carrying on luggage onto the airplane and stuff, have you seen how these baggage handlers handle your bags when they
That's why I won't even put a bag in I only travel. I do the opposite of my brother. Everything goes in my carry-on bag and nothing gets given to the conveyor belt. Nothing.
Because you end up with a broken bag and laptops getting broken or stolen and all kinds of things.
When I was flying with musicians, we'd do that, and the bags would always come out. Somebody had opened it and rummaged around inside. It was like, nah.
That's common in South Africa.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Oh, boy.
Well, it's Far East as well. I've seen some of those guys from Malaysia and,
Really?
and the Philippines, and the way they handle their bags over there, boy. They come off the airplane like rockets, land in the box about 60 feet away.
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't get involved in that. So they had, yes.
I have been sitting on the plane and looking out the window and seeing one of these guys dragging my bag across the asphalt, with the wheels up. So basically dragging, and you're like tapping on the window, like, hey. But
that's my bag. So just my bloody bag. There was a guy, a country singer years back, who wrote a song. I think it was called "United Airlines Don't Care About My Bags" or something. I'm going to see if I can find it quickly. United Airlines breaks guitar. His guitar got broken, and he made a song called United Airlines Breaks Guitars. I think I've got it here. Let's take a look. Let's see. All right.
Yeah, I think it was one of those cases where he complained about it.
Oh, it would help if I turned the volume up.
Plane depart Halifax, connecting in Chicago's O'Hare.
I'm trying to get it on the screen.
While on the ground, a passenger said from the seat behind me, "My God, they're throwing guitars out there."
It's like,
Yeah.
The band and I exchanged a look.
I really hope I don't get a copyright for this crappy song. Copyright strike coming up.
Knowing whose projectiles these would be. So before I left Chicago, I alerted 3 employees who showed.
This is just for you, Alistair.
Towards me.
Just for you, Alistair.
United, you broke my Taylor guitar.
Yeah.
United, some big help you are. You broke it, you should fix it. You're liable, just admit it. I should have flown with someone else or gone by car.
Got 27 million views and cost United Airlines a whole lot more than a Taylor guitar.
A cowboy needs something sad to write about.
Well, that cowboy found it. It was like his Taylor guitar.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And let's see what else we got in the comments section. We get some nice comments coming in. If you've pressed the like, heart button or any of the emoji buttons, thank you. You're a true fan and friend and family member. If you haven't pressed it, we just don't like you at all. Margaret Guider says, what a sight to see a prosthetic leg flying through the air from a Karen of a wife. Love from Boxburg. Ach, yeah, man.
Thank you very much.
I promise you, I saw some. You see things in the restaurant business if you have one in the East Rand, that's for sure. Beverly Lloyd says, hi, everybody. Janine Aspiden says, hi, all. Hope you had a good break. How's it, Greg? Good to see you on the show again, says Gail. Margaret Guider says, aha, so you're a hush puppy man. Now, who would have thought? Don't tell, it's not cool. I'll never get a girlfriend if I say I wear hush puppies. And I would.
They're the most comfortable shoes around.
I know, but they're not sexy. Oh man, there's this lady in Cape Town. I got a friend in Cape Town. She's like, I don't know, we kind of dated some years ago, and then she got attached. Now she's not. She's single now. She sent me a message the other day. Tommy. You know, when a woman calls me Tommy, that's half of me. I'm done. Tommy, come live in Cape Town. So why would I live in Cape Town? Well, you could see me. Oh, man. I said, well, the problem is that, what would we do in Cape Town? She said, we could hike up Table Mountain together, she says.
You can only do that once.
I said, I can only do that once, because if I walk up Table Mountain, I'll fall for you. And then she sent a laughing face back with a hug. I mean, really. So I felt, when I got back here Wednesday, I was really cold. And for like 5-6 days, all I can think of or a week is it's not good being single in winter.
No, that's true.
It's not good being single in winter. The bed
Have you got a feather duvet?
Yeah, but the bed is cold, man. The bed is cold, and I find myself lying awake at midnight, longing for an ex-girlfriend, one of the larger ones.
Buy an electric blanket.
I was thinking about that last night. But my mom had she had an electric blanket years ago that caught fire.
Oh,
do you remember that, Greg?
I think technology's improved since the 1930s.
It wasn't the 1930s. It was the 1980s or 90s when Mom's electric blanket caught fire. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Briefly, yeah. I remember something. Lots of sparks. And burns.
Sparks and fire and stuff. I'm scared of that. And I'm scared of hot water bottles as well because of how many people, whenever I talk about hot water bottles, talk about, I burned myself so badly with 3rd-degree burns out of a hot water bottle, Tom.
Yeah.
I'd stay away from those bloody things.
But all you do, Tom, is just wrap it in a towel and it's fine.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Well, but not if boiling water.
No. Leave him. He's full of good advice today. Travel advice, hot water bottle advice. I like it.
Thank you very much.
Charmaine Ninaba says, Tom, I got no bags and baggage to slow me down. No comb and toothbrush, traveling light. I do that sometimes. You always feel like when you go through the metal detectors and security and you don't have a bag with you and you're the only person standing in the queue of like 200 people without a bag, you feel like the person that's going to do something wrong. It's like just something about it. It doesn't feel right.
Working with security at the airport, you get to see a lot of people come through there.
Hold on. Working as security at the airport, have you done that?
I worked at Cape Town Airport for about 6 years.
This is incredible. Is there anything you haven't done?
Fly an airplane.
Okay. Right. So you worked at Cape Town International. You did security there.
No, I was in the bank there, but I had to go through security every single day of my life.
Okay.
3 or 4 times at a day. And they pick them out. You can see. They know who to look for.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys that are hopping from one leg to the other. They profile them. Looking around.
It's the guy that's doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the boyfriend and girlfriend that get off the plane smooching, but by the time they get to immigration, they're like 100 meters. They don't know each other. I don't know that woman.
I saw a lot of that. I worked in Heathrow Airport for 2 years, and there's undercover police there, and there's always something going on. They're watching someone, following someone.
You know you've been watched when you're at an airport, except at Richards Bay. There's no one watching you there. It got a bit hot in the little room, and then a lady came with a remote control, and she proudly, like a lightsaber in a Star Wars movie, pointed it at this big air conditioning unit at the door and switched it on, and the aircon went and blew cold air at us for 20 minutes. You got to experience.
What's the worst airport?
Worst airport?
What's the worst airport you've ever been to?
There aren't really worst airports in South Africa, I don't think.
Nah.
I don't think they're any bad. But that's a good question to throw out there. Is an airport you don't particularly like? Put it in the comments section. I'm quite okay with them. Even the rinky-dink airports like Richards Bay, I think it's cute. But there was one guy operating the air stairs, and he didn't have a motor or engine. He had to push this. So the engines are spooling up on the plane, and you see this guy putting the jacks down on the air stairs, and then off he trundles. That's his one big job in Richards Bay for the day, to take the Airlink air stairs, put them back in the garage until tomorrow. I thought it was quite cute.
Don't walk in front of the props.
That
must be pretty close.
Yeah, I kept worrying. I was this guy watching, he gets sucked in or something.
When I was a kid, we used to go to the local aerodrome. It wasn't even
didn't
an
have
airport
planes when you were. Did they? They had planes.
The Wright brothers hung out.
They used to hang out with the Wright brothers.
Just after Kitty Hawk, yeah. But we used to go to Margate Airfield, and it was like a Britain Norman Islander, which was a twin-engine top-wing aircraft that used to fly to Durban and back every day.
Yeah.
And it was a grass landing strip. It was a little cubicle, like a container with a window in it.
Where is this?
Margate.
Oh, Margate Airport?
The previous one, not the current one. This is the new airport.
You're talking about Virginia Airport?
No, Margate.
No, there was a Margate.
Margate had an airport?
There was quite a...
Margate's got a beautiful big airport.
It had a concave runway. It was a difficult airport. I know someone who crashed a plane there.
Before they had the airport there, They used to have a grass airstrip, which is now part of the Margate Country Club.
Right.
And you used to take off across the top of the hills on this grass strip with this big airliner. Airliner wasn't even a big.
I've never landed at Margate Airport, I got to tell you. I almost had a fight in a nightclub in Margate once, but that's a completely different story.
Margate Airport is nice now.
Is it?
Yeah, they've got car rentals. They've got a little coffee shop. They've got
and boxing gloves, because all the all the rough oaks from Gauteng and Northwest Province pull in there in December and fight with each other. They continue the fight that started in Vereeniging and they finish it in Margate. That's what happens in December. Emily Hudson says, I'm a horrible lady on the plane now that I can't knit my stress away. Last time I was in the UK, I got terrible earache and still have a problem today, 11 years ago. That happened to me flying into Richards Bay. I've had it once before. You know, there was a time when I used to look at people that were crying when you descend. You know, you'd always have one person going, oh my God, the pain, Moira, the sinus pain my head is about to explode. And I used to look at these people and go, oh, you ninny. There's a word I haven't heard for a long time. You ninny, what's wrong with you? And then years back, it happened to me. It was like the most excruciating pain above my eyes. And I haven't had it for years and years and years. And then we flew into Richards Bay. It was quite a rapid descent. I don't know whether that was it or just
probably.
But I was sitting next to, so I sat down in my window seat. There was one seat next to me. A lady came and sat down, and I said to her, hello, how are you? And she went, hello. And she didn't answer, how are you? So I kind of got okay, she's not a talker. She's not a talker. She's a leave me aloner. And I left her alone. And then later on, I heard her talking to someone. She was American. So she wasn't a South African. South Africans, you go, how are you? And then the person tells them, well, you got no idea. I lost my job 2 months ago. My wife got scurvy and my kid just lost his pinky. Well, with a lawnmower accident, and I'm looking for a job. That's why they tell you everything, South Africans. But Americans like, hi, and that's it. And so when we descend down to Richards Bay, this pain starts above both eyes, and it's really, really sore. And I'm looking, and my nose starts running, and then my eyes started watering. So it looked like I was crying with snot and tears all dripping down and I had no serviette, no tissue, nothing. And I just sat in that plane with tears streaming down my. People must have thought I was really sad coming into Richards Bay, but tears streaming down my face and streams, rivers, and. I was like, wow, never
you
make...
You just broken up with your girlfriend.
What's that?
It's like you just broken up with your girlfriend.
They must have thought I was really unhappy flying into Richards Bay. But I wasn't. But anyone who has that pain's got my sympathy. I never laugh at anyone with that pain again. Mandy Wilson says, I think my possibly most comical story when I was flying back from the UK with my dad's ashes. Can you fly? Can you take... I've always wanted to know this. Can you take ashes on a plane with you? Are you allowed to?
If you check it in, yeah.
What do you say? I would like to check these ashes in?
No, look, it's not going to be in an urn. It'll be in a box that'll be sealed and whatever.
Sure.
But you just put it into cargo.
Sure. I don't know at all. It feels a bit weird. Like you're flying with the... I don't know if you get what if they say, no, you can't? And you're like, oh, damn, we were planning to fly to the North Pole to scatter Granny's ashes. I don't know. Oh, sorry, I didn't finish the story. Mandy had her dad's ashes, severely overweight, as I also had a lot of shopping for the kids, a lot of treasures of my dad, so we knew the case was going to break the scale. My cousin placed the case on the conveyor and lifted to end up with his... That's an old trick, that one. Do you know that trick? Where you put your foot underneath the scale and you lift it up.
Yeah.
So we knew I lifted it up with his foot, proceeded to tell the checking lady the sad story. I just lost my dad, totally distracted. We got away with it. I had to giggle as I knew my dad would be up there laughing. I did it once. I'll be honest. I did it once. 2 kilos. I got it to go from 22 to 20. I've done that once.
But they're getting clever.
They know that now. No, they know that you can't get your foot underneath it anymore. They're taking that little lip away. Yeah.
Actually, I got a story for you.
And also you end up with another Air India situation.
Yeah, we do not want another Air India situation. Yes?
Yeah. When I came out in October, and I flew from Dubai into Johannesburg, and I just must have looked like target market here. I got pulled over on customs so I'd gone through, got my bags, and customs pulled me over, and this lady's like, "All right, where'd you flying from?" I'm saying, "I flew in from Dubai." She said, "Oh, what did you have a good trip?" I said, "Yeah, I had a good trip." She said, "What did you bring with you?"
Cocaine.
So I said nothing, because I mean, Dubai is shopping capital, one of the shopping capitals of the world, right? So a guy my age coming through, I've bought all the they're assuming I've got iPhones and stuff.
Yeah.
And honestly, what I had in my bag was $4 for a family member, because we know the Cocoa Pops in South Africa is.
You had a box of Cocoa Pops?
So. 4. They wanted original Cocoa Pops because of what
we've
Kellogg's
stuffed
done
Cocoa Pops up in the. By the way, my brother Greg has got a big gripe with the makers of Cocoa Pops. We'll get to that next. Yeah.
So anyway, I had $4. So she asked me what I got in my bag. I said Cocoa Pops. She starts interrogating. It's like, no, but you've just come from Dubai. Nobody comes from Dubai without buying something.
Yes,
I said, I've got Cocoa Pops.
Greg does.
Thank you very much.
She made me put the bag through the X-ray thing, X-rayed it back and forth, made me open it, and I had 4 bags of Cocoa Pops. She was not impressed. She thought she was nailing me there with electronics or iPhones
4 bags of new iPhones.
Game Boys or something.
So just to explain the Cocoa Pop story, because by the way, Alistair, I've heard this many times from my brother Greg. I could tell the story, but it's his story, not mine. Except I've got an addition to it. My brother has a serious problem with the makers of Cocoa Pops in South Africa. Take it away, Greg.
Thank you very much.
Well, I don't know what more to say, but Kellogg's was one of the first to start, where they changed their recipe. They decided to. Well, they changed from using rice to
corn
wheat, I think.
Yeah,
so
wheat.
So it's not just Cocoa Pops. It's Rice Krispies, Cocoa Pops, Strawberry Pops.
Let's see if people agree with you.
They changed the recipe overnight. Not the recipe, but the base ingredients.
Yeah.
And then to try and make them more palatable, they added sugar.
Yeah.
And it's just awful. They just destroyed that. And it's not just Kellogg's that has done that, but they won. Coca-Cola is the other brand that just destroyed all of their products.
Yeah.
And
so I don't eat Cocoa Pops, but every now and then I go get a TV bar, and they're not the same anymore either, because they use Rice Krispies. Anyway, let this be known that our family is lodging an objection over Cocoa Pops in South Africa.
No, if you go to Kellogg's Facebook page and whatever, there's thousands and tens of thousands of complaints about it. And their response, well, it's been changed and there's nothing we can do about it.
All right. So Margaret Guider says, "Wow, flying with musicians. Picture it. Oh, it's like taking cats. It's like asking 5 cats to meet you at OR Tambo at 6:30 tomorrow morning, and then going there and seeing how many cats arrive. That's like musicians. You got to chain them together when you fly with them." And musicians all have allergies. I don't know if people know this, but that's why they have technical riders. These guys. We can't eat the blue M&Ms because it gives us anaphylactic shock. And so musicians are always, a musician on a plane, someone got a problem with the perfume, someone else can't breathe. There's always a story with musicians. I could tell. But anyway. Oh my God, I'm flying to Cape Town soon with the planes crashing these days. I'm terrified. Don't worry, it's only the fancy ones, and we haven't got so many of them in South Africa. We've
only had one crash in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, we've got the Air India. And
I want to sit in seat 11A in future.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's a guarantee, 11A. And now there are people wondering whether that guy actually did, make his way out the plane, or whether he's just a hustler. I don't know. I don't even know how to read this. The person's name is Ass Butter, and comment is balls. So I have no idea what that means.
Okay.
Beverly Penny, who we affectionately know as our Auntie Bev, says, "Hi, Greg. Nice to see you. Auntie Bev on board."
Hey Bev. Good to hear from you.
Man, Auntie Bev has worked with us when we were in the tire business. Auntie Bev worked in all the tire shops we ever had.
Yeah, and we were neighbors for many, many years.
That's
too.
right. Whenever someone in my family opened a tire shop, which would happen frequently, it would go like this. You put a piece of paper on the dining room table and say, what do we need? We need a wheel balancing machine. We need a fitting machine. We need steel tubing, a welding machine, and Auntie Bev. And Auntie Bev was always on the equipment list. Auntie Bev, write her name in there. And Auntie Bev came and worked for me in a shop in Brakpan. And I think we had one customer in 2 months. It was the worst business decision of my life. And we sat there day in, day out, and only one customer would come. Same guy. He'd keep pitching. He had a crush on Auntie Bev. Let me just put it out there. The customer was in love with Auntie Bev. And he would keep coming and asking for 195.50. How much? Just to talk to. He'd just come in there to talk to Auntie Bev. And then when Auntie Bev was, because Auntie Bev's married, she can't be running around with side hustles. She's got a husband. We knew that, and Auntie Bev knew that, but the customer didn't. He just get more and more. Eventually, he started driving in and leaving girly magazines on the front seat of his car. I think he was trying to show Auntie Bev like just how into her he was, but it didn't work. But I'll never forget the tire shop that had one customer who was in love with.
A bit of a hottie then.
Yeah, and Auntie Bev, he was he had the hearts for Auntie Bev. Patricia Holcomb says, "Hi, Greg. Nice to see you again." Una Guida says, as long as it's not Boeing. No, just the 787 Dreamliner has a little bit of a question mark over it right now. And you do not want to get on. I personally would not get onto a 737 MAX, which we don't have in this. We don't have in this country. We've got the 800s. They're fine. Anita says, they better not throw my luggage around. Pat says, I've never had a problem with my luggage ever. It's AXA employees. Tomorrow I'm flying up to Joburg as my darling sister has malignant melanoma. We pray for her, Pat. But only hand luggage. Yeah, I don't put it in there. I'm here. I hope you didn't miss me too much. We did. We were crying over you, Nikki Hart. Where were you? I bought some strawberry liqueur while in Vienna on a Kentucky tour, packed it in my suitcase, surrounded by my clothes. Thankfully, it survived, and I didn't have a suitcase smelling of strawberry liqueur, says Elaine Bonney. Now, so my brother used to work at Heathrow Airport. This is back in 1996. And my brother met a girl in London, and then he moved in with her. And we were all living in Springs, and we were getting this news out of the UK that Greg has moved in with a lady. What? Greg moved in with someone? Who is this person? My mother was, who is this person? I said, don't worry, Mom, I'll fly to London and I'll check her out. And I flew to London in 1996. I never forget, I arrived on Greg's birthday, 5th of October. And I was on the first Virgin Atlantic plane out of South Africa. And it broke down the night before. And half the people flew on, Billy, it's my show. So, man. So half the people got put on other flights. So the first Virgin Atlantic flight out of South Africa was only half full, which is fantastic because I grabbed 4 seats in economy. I put all the handrests up, the armrests, and I made a bed with the cushions and the blankets, and I put all the tray tables down, and then I made the fatal mistake of asking the air hostess. I said to her, listen, instead of me pressing the button over and over again for whiskey, why don't you just bring me a whole lot of it and a bucket of ice and some water? And she did. And I had rows of those little tots things, and I drank it all. I'm proud to say that she challenged me, and I lived up to it. And then we landed at Heathrow. My brother's waiting for me to come out of immigration. And my legs weren't working. I had spent 10 hours drinking Bell's and J&B. And the lady said, it's time for you to go, sir. And I said, I can't. And they helped me to the galley, and I drank coffee in the galley and chatted to the cabin crew while they sorted their stuff out. And eventually I got off the plane. But before I got off, they must have thought, let's give this guy something to think about. And they said, would you like some booze, would ya? And I'm not a big drinker, just happened to be drinking that flight. I said yes, and they gave me Checkers packets full of virgin vodka and virgin this and virgin that. I brought 2 bottles of J&B with me and 400 cigarettes. By the time I went through nothing to declare, I was probably facing 20 years in a British if they caught me. And I came through nothing to declare, and I was expecting my brother to go, Tommy, my long-lost brother. And he looked at me and he went, what's that? And I said, it's booze. Let's drink. It's your birthday. And he said, I've got work tomorrow. I said, no, man, look, they gave me. He said, shh. I work airside. I'll lose my job over you if they see how much booze you've got. So there was no party. We had to drive back to his house. He went to sleep early. I got put in a little passage a little room at the end of the passage that was just wide enough for the bed, and I went to sleep. Actually, I sat up with a friend of his called Mel, drinking and smoking till about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I went to sleep. And I woke up the next morning. This is in Hounslow West, on the approach to Heathrow. So the planes are coming right past the bedroom window. And it was surreal. I wake up in another country. I don't remember much about the day before. Here I am in London. I look out the window and a 747 comes past the window. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. But why are my feet? My feet are killing me, man. My feet are burning. Can't work out why my feet are so sore. And then I look down. I've been sleeping with my feet against the heater. The radiator heater. Yeah, I had burned my feet. That's my story. Anyway, okay. Hush puppies, no.
There's more to that. There's more to that story because the door handle broke on the door.
The door handle broke. I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out. I was locked in this little cupboard.
We just heard a very faint, help me,
help me,
help me,
help me,
help me from the other side of the door. He was hungover, dehydrated.
Yeah, finished. I almost died in Hounslow West.
Get out the room.
Yeah. And then the other stupid thing I did was the last day I'm walking with Greg through Bolton in London. And I've spent all my money on T-shirts and gifts for people back home. I think when you travel to London first time, you do that. We come back with 1 million key rings and freaking mugs. And I went to London and my brother went to London. All he bought me was this London T-shirt. Coming back, as I say to Greg, I haven't got anything. Like, I didn't buy anything for myself. As we walk past a tattoo parlor. And I think, well, that's a good commemoration of my trip to see my brother. I put a tattoo. So we walk in, and it was 2 lesbian ladies, and the lady said, where do you want a tattoo? What do you want, huh? So I said, I want a tattoo of a scorpion because I'm a Scorpio. And she says, where do you want that, love? And I said, on my backside. On your ass? Oh, no, how are it? She started slagging me off the whole way through. The whole time she was telling me I was stupid, what an idiot I was for tattooing my backside, and I put this beautiful scorpion on my backside. And then it was only that night that I realized I had to sit on my backside for the next 11 hours exactly where I tattooed a Scorpio on the plane. Yeah, so and plus I've put on weight since then, and so I've got a stretched version, very unclear Scorpio on my right butt cheek.
Show us!
You
No!
remember the show where you did it naked?
I did what naked?
You did the Tom London show naked?
Yeah, I did my birthday a year and a bit ago. I did it naked. Yeah. That's right, just with an apron. You're right. I used to do that.
You could have showed us that night.
I had friends that used to come to me for Christmas every year, and every year I'd try and shock them at the gate. I'd find different things to do, and the one year I wore an apron, and they beep beep at the gate, and I went out to open the gate, and as I turned, obviously I had nothing on. It was just bare from top to bottom at the back, and I bent over and over there, and they reminded me of that every Christmas for years and years. Oh, man. My husband wears hush puppies, but they are like modern shoes. You see, it's like saying leg braces aren't that bad anymore. They're quite fashionable. You know? Hush puppies, no, like Crocs. I love Crocs. Does that mean you like Crocs or they are like Crocs? Anyway, they're comfortable. What if your partner steals the blanket, says Una Gaida? Oh, I am a limpet. What are those? You're a fish, underwater guy. What are they called? They're limpets. Where they stick to the shark or whatever.
Well, yeah, my mind's gone blank.
I'm like a limpet.
You're talking about a remora. A limpet is the shell that sticks.
Or a landmine.
It's the fish.
Yes.
A remora is the fish that sticks.
Yeah, if you're my partner,
big enough.
You won't need to steal the blankets. I'm magnetized. If you're someone who likes your space in a bed, do not visit me. I agree, Tom. That's the only thing I hate about winter. No one to cuddle. Yeah. That's us. The sad, lonely, single people.
Yeah.
My dog keeps me warm. That's an option. So Linda, she lies right next to me. Charmaine Ninaba says, Tom, an electric blanket is way cheaper than a girlfriend. That's true. Blankets don't catch fire anymore. Neither do girlfriends.
Thank you very much.
They also don't tell you what you can and can't eat.
The blankets? Get a Wheatie bag. Get a dog to keep you warm. Here come the suggestions. Get a dog. MTM, happy Tuesday, Tom and crew. Remember rotary phones? Still sitting here thinking about random things today. Dustin out of America. I've watched his videos.
We used to tap those.
Tap
we used
dial?
to tap those rotary
We're
phones.
very good at it.
Tap dial,
Oh, yeah.
We were very, very good. My mother would
Lock them before they go to work in the morning and come home at night.
The end of the month, you knew the phone bill's coming on Friday. From Tuesday, the air in the house starts lowering temperature, man. Before you know it, Friday's there. My dad, who's the calmest oak on the planet, never screams and shouts about mistakes you make or things that go wrong. Or nothing. My dad's not like that. But the phone bill at the end of the month, that would become like a demon. Eh? That phone bill used to get hauled out onto the dining room table. He used to have permanent markers of different, because it became, my mother would say, it's not me, it's the kids. It's the kids. My father would say, he would use bad words. F, how are we going to afford this? F. Who's done this? And then we would all go, it's not us, it's Mom. And Mom would say, it's the kids. It's those bloody kids. Alan, it's those bloody kids. And so this would go on every month. And eventually we decided we would sit with do you remember this? We get highlighters and everyone would identify their phone numbers. And we all had to report to the dining room table. I'll be the green highlighter. And then it was like 803-6344 was my first girlfriend's number. So, all right, now I phoned her 20 times in the month. Let's get the calculator. Oh,
But
great.
if you think about it, the phone bill, if I remember back in the late 80s,
They were big,
early
big
90s,
bills.
was in the thousands.
$1,500 or something. My dad made a bad mistake. Do you remember when he said, I'm going to get another telephone for your mother? $3,000 a month.
I mean, it's probably the equivalent of 20,000 Rand now.
Can you imagine?
Like, if
Or more.
take inflation.
Or more.
My poor father, he just had to, all he could see was how many 18514s he had to sell to cover a $2,000 phone bill. And
Look, that's not the worst. That's not the worst we did to him.
Yeah.
I mean, you pinned him between a car and a gate.
Greg's bringing up the day that I rode over my father. He's bringing up the day that I knocked my dad over.
If I remember correctly, the preceding words were
Watch this. Yes. It was too young for Hold My Beer. Tanya's told us she can join us. So let's see if we can call her. No, stay there, Greg, because we got another line. So luckily I've hooked another line up. And I think that we can actually just call her off the other line. So let's see if we do that quickly. Tanya.
For 6 minutes.
Yeah, for a few minutes. We just put another phone up here quickly and we'll get her on board. And I think it's even synced and everything. And I've just got to work out how to. Do you think I'm calling off another number. Think she knows? She's not answering.
Going, I can't answer this.
I can't answer this because I'm waiting for Tom London to call me. She said she'll speak to us, but I wasn't prepared for this. Oh, there she is. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen.
The Tom London Show, where 2/3 of the hosts love America.
Yeah!
Why am I watching you? I'm staring up at a camera. That's
hold on.
weird.
Langley.
Don't even joke. I'm getting into big trouble with Langley. Langley.
That's when we want to get in touch with the CIA. We use the magic words.
Langley.
Yeah.
Hello, America. All the way from South Africa. It's the Tom London Show.
So listen, everyone was waiting for you, and then you didn't arrive, and now you're here, and now it's happiness again.
No, Mommy wasn't well, but she's okay. She's going to sleep now.
She okay
we'll
now?
See. I don't know. We'll see.
All
but
right.
yeah, she's okay for now.
Okay, so,
yes,
some prayers for Tanya's mom, who's under the weather at the moment.
Thank you,
That'd be
guys.
nice. I was just about to tell. I was just about to tell the story of the day I rode my dad over. Greg brought it up. Greg and I were very. We were. I don't know. How do I put? We were naughty with cars. I mean,
all the time you crashed his company car.
Just with cars.
I didn't crash the company car, Greg. A guy walked in front of me and he crashed into it with his head.
What?
It's true. Okay, but why did you have to bring
him his job? Yeah. Let's
he's letting all the family secrets out now. I once crashed my dad's Mazda 2. My dad worked for some mafia guys. And he had a company car. I haven't told you the story, Tanya. He had a company car, Mazda 323 EGI, the 2-liter twin cam multi-valve engine. It was a little rocket ship. And I went up to the shops to buy milk in it with my friend Garth. And he thought that his girlfriend Helen was busy having an affair with a guy called Robert. And he asked if we could drive past her house. And I was actually not wanting to. And I was in a bit of a mood.
That's something you really don't want to get involved in.
No, but I said,
like, yeah,
and I
that's
was
the
like,
last thing I want to do.
Yeah, I was like, okay, damn it, let's go. And I gunned it. I didn't get 100 meters past cam and motor, and some guy stepped in front of the car, and he put his head through the windshield and rocketed over the car. It was a big story. Luckily, not a bone broken, nothing, no damage to the guy. But the car was damaged, and when my dad went back the next day with a broken windscreen, they fired him. And I'm surprised my father still loves me, actually. They fired him, and then there was some argument, and that night they phoned him and they threatened to kill him. And the only reason we knew that they threatened to kill him was... Yeah, they were mafia. And then they called the house, and we were having dinner, and someone said, Dad, it's for you. And then we just heard him say, 26 Sierra Road, if you want to kill me, I'm here. And we went, what was that? And he said, well, those were the people I used to work for before you crashed my car.
Thank you very much.
They were angry with me. Apparently the Mazda was important. But that wasn't the day I rode my dad over. The day I rode
but wait. How do you feel that you almost got your dad taken out in a hit?
I just learned. I learned from that.
You never took the car in the joyride again?
No. I learned if anyone threatens me to give the address, because that's how you deal with them. That's what I learned. I learned that. And but the day
please tell me.
My dad used to smoke outside. He used to go out onto the pavement. He used to go out the gates of the house. He would go to the pavement, out on the pavement in front of the gates, and he would have a smoke. And Greg and I were coming down the road in, I don't know, I think my aunt's Golf.
Yes.
1.6 liter. We stole the Golf, and we're coming down the drag.
Boys,
we're coming
on.
Well, it wasn't technically. It's only stealing if the cops catch you. Then they say he stole the car. We didn't give it to him. He stole. So we would whatever car. If we saw car keys, that was it. Your car was going for a spin around the block, and that's what we did. We took the Golf for a spin and. Coming down Sabakwi Road in Selcourt, I thought a good maneuver would be if I pulled the handbrake and then put it into a 4-wheel slide sideways down the road, got it to stop in front of the gate. It's got it to stop in front of the gates and then release the handbrake and roll forward into the drive. And I got it.
What do you think you're in? Like one of those?
No, ask Greg. We could drive. We were like Hot Wheels drivers. Yeah, we could drive anything. And so I got it, I'd say, about 95% right.
Thank you very much.
About 95. The 5% I didn't get right was the entry into the driveway at a slow speed. I came barreling in. And we knocked him, and he went underneath the bonnet. And Greg and I...
He was pinned between the car and the gate.
Yeah, he was pinned between it was worse than underneath the
He
bonnet.
was banging. He was banging on the bonnet, saying, "You little shit."
Yeah, he was going to kill. He was going to kill me. He was banging. He was banging. He was.
If he could get you, he'd have killed you.
I didn't know. I was like, oh man, this is a predicament because if I just stay here and keep him pinned between the car and the gate, he can't get up.
You terrible child.
But if I reverse, there's a chance that my father will commit murder.
If the cops don't get you, your father will.
Yeah. So anyway, I reversed, and he didn't get up, and Greg and I were like, uh-oh. And my mom. So here's the backstory. For 20 years, my mother used to say, Alan, you smoke those cigarettes, you're going to have a heart attack one day. She was right. He did one day, but that day he didn't, and not that day. And Greg grabbed his legs and I grabbed his arms and we carried him into the house. And all the sympathy he got from my mother was, "I told you it was going to happen. I told you one day you're going to have a heart attack."
It wasn't a heart attack. It was my son's car.
That's what he was trying to explain. He was like, "I could get up if I'll never forget. If I could get up, if I could get up." It's like, jeez. Anyway,
The Duke of Hazzard have got nothing on springs.
this is normal for springs.
Thank you very much.
It's normal for
We
springs.
did a lot of that.
Yeah, you know,
We did a lot of that.
Kinross, you must have done the same. Kinross, were they?
Well, it was worse than that. Outside Kinross is a farm called Sondagsfontein.
Sondagsfontein, yeah. Yeah.
And Sondagsfontein is where I spent my childhood. And I learned to drive at a very young age, like 12, 13. Like,
Same
you know
year.
how it is.
Yeah, same year.
Yeah. So we took the bucky and off we went. And we were like playing, what's that guy, the archaeologist that goes on, what is he, Temple of the somebody in the Temple of Doom, whatever.
Adriana Jones.
You know who I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Indiana Jones, yeah. We were playing Indiana Jones and we were going to collect artifacts out into the deep lands. And off we went. There were about 4 of us and a Goomba, one of those big radios, right? One of those ones that you put on your shoulder.
Yeah.
We had a Goomba and we were playing the track. I'll never forget the track. It was 19.
There's always a song playing when something goes bad. I've got a 12-inch maxi single right in front of me, actually. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So here we were. We went out into the lands. I was driving. I thought I was so amazing. I was driving, and the kids on the back. I say the kids, I mean my friends, and my sister. Okay, and she was very little then.
Yeah.
It was something else. So I took a sharp left because we couldn't find the bones we were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Took a sharp left and managed to land the bucky in a gully that was exactly like it had been measured for the back and front wheels.
Oh, wow. And that was it?
The car
Stuck.
was suspended. Okay?
Yeah.
But the exhaust pipe was as flat as a pancake. Okay? And I walked around and had a look at the car and I said to my friend Bjorn, I was like, okay, Bint, we'd be able to dig this out, but I don't know what we're going to do about the flat as a pancake exhaust. Okay?
Oh, man.
Anyway, mate, we had to walk. Now we're far from home, and here's these 4 or 5 kids with a Goomba playing 19, walking through the farmlands, coming home, and we got chased by a bull, which was terrifying.
That was normal back in the
home,
day. Yeah. You had to tell
when
your
I
dad.
got home, my father wasn't a very easy man. Okay, my father could shout a lot.
Yeah.
So when we got there, all of us were terrified that Dad was going to kill us. So my friend Boo and I, my best friend, we went into the bathroom and hid, okay? And
As
the
you
next
do.
thing, there's a knock at the door,
Yeah.
like a soft knock. And Boo goes, who's it? And it's Bjorn, my friend.
Yeah.
And he goes, are you guys really having a wee, or can I also come in?
Oh, that's funny.
Thank you very much.
I think 2 of my favorite car stories from friends and things that go wrong is I had a friend called Andrew de Villiers, still a friend of mine, lives in New Zealand now. The family came to visit us one day, and Greg and I were always taking cars. And Andrew didn't quite get to take the car from his dad as much as his dad was stricter. Uncle Paul, and he loved his Toyota Corolla. So when he used to come visit us, we'd park it in the garage so it would get shade. And then Andrew got the car keys one day, and we went in to listen to music. And then I said, well, just start it, And he started it, and then he revved it, and he let the clutch out, and we went straight into. We had an accident in the garage. And Uncle Paul was not happy that day. But I've got a friend called John. He was coming back from Durban with the whole family and the 60-seat caravan in the back. And his dad had a jersey on, and John was 10 sitting in the front with his dad. And his dad took the jersey off, and he said, just hold the steering wheel, son. And then well, by the time the jersey came off, the caravan was gone. The family were upside down in the station wagon. Yeah, so my friends were way worse than me. Okay, let's clean up the comments quickly. Tom, I put a blanket underneath me. Makes a huge difference. Sleeping on a blanket. Yeah.
Has he been moaning about his back, has
No.
he?
I'm moaning that I don't have a girlfriend to sleep next to.
Oh,
Jeez.
okay.
Sorry. I have my cats. Yes, that's how we know you're too far gone. Cheryl Bitker says, hello, Tom London. Margaret Guida says, oh, my soul, you need a large, fluffy teddy bear. No, I need a woman. A warm one. My cats did that too when I had cats. They lie on it like the way. Hush puppies are cool. There we go. I never knew there was an airport in Margate, says Una Guida. Join the club. Alistair has educated us today.
There's an airport in Margate.
Yeah, so try yawning while descending. It helps. I was yawning. I was spitting. I was decompressing. I was equalizing.
Such a big baby.
Stop it.
Guys.
You saw the condition I was in when I arrived at Richard.
Oh, it went on
Turds.
for 2 days, 2 days he wins about his ears.
A fight in a nightclub in Margate. Tom, you're better. It wasn't much of a fight. I was traveling with some guys, bodyguards, who had Uzi submachine guns under their jackets. So when the guy wanted to take a swing, the guy opened his jacket and then they said sorry. And I won the fight by default. Bodyguards with Uzis are a great thing, I got to tell you, especially in Margate in December. I took my friend's ashes in hand luggage to Margate Airport. No one said a thing. Ashes using... we were talking about ashes earlier. Sorry, we've moved on. But anyway, there's legal documentation required for taking ashes on international flight. I just packed them in my case. Many people...
I just took Hilton's down with me under the... I shouldn't say that.
It just seems that people just put the ashes in.
I was just being quiet.
Yeah.
I was just being quiet.
Surely when they scan it,
though. To fly into Australia.
Yeah, try and explain that one. When they say, what is it you got, any undeclared items you got in your baggage there, mate? Is there any cucumbers from China? So no, just some ashes. Ashes banned from Australia for 25,000 years. Greg,
Border security.
Greg, what wise decision can you give Tom as your brother? He once said he was the kid. Your guidance would be appreciated. Shame on you, Margaret Guida, for asking a question like that.
It's too late now, Margaret.
He gave me advice before the show. He gave me brotherly guidance just before the show. I said, Greg, I've got a back problem. He says, because you're fat. Straight out. Straight out.
No.
Yeah, okay. He said lifestyle. You said, my skin,
no,
the pimples.
You said you've got it, Mark. Yeah, I said stop eating crap.
See? Mr. Diplomacy.
I'm not saying anything.
The new Rice Krispies are terrible. How did we go? This is an amazing show. We went from ashes to Rice Krispies in 30 seconds. Road trips with musos are bad enough. Would not want to be stuck with a band on a plane. Did you finish Mandy's story? Mandy who? Anyone remember that? Mandy's story? We might have.
Yeah, we did.
I think so.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, fine. A bottle of whiskey for Tom before arriving at Heathrow. Lord have mercy. All the truth is pouring out. This is when I was in my 20s. I'm much more serene now. Suri Smith says, hello, Tom. Oh, there's another one of these ladies. She's beautiful, and I'd marry her in a heartbeat, and then doesn't... These ladies, they come and they go. They go for 6 months, and they come back, and then they say, hello, Tom. And then, if they really want to get me going, they say, hello, Tommy. And then I'm like, oh, I'm in love with you. And then they're gone for another 6 months. She's one of them. Let it be known that she is one of them.
She's on YouTube.
Suri's going to have you're in a lot of trouble now, mate. Sorry.
Such a chop sleeping with the feet on the radio. Did you see the Queen? No. Show us your tattoo? No. Yes, show us your tattoo? No. Scorpion on your bottom. You're a card, all right. I was the best tap dialer, says Mandy. Also dreaded the phone bills. That time when we did the highlighters, my mom turned out to have the biggest bill of everybody. We didn't do highlighters anymore. Oh, man, the battery just went dead and Greg just got disconnected.
Brutal shutdown.
Oh, it was a brutal shutdown.
Sorry.
Back in the 80s, we could remember our phone numbers, says Dustin. Do you remember your phone numbers now? I do. Remember my grandmother's 818-4368. Ours was 3635. Oh, my goodness. I forgot ours. But I remember my first girlfriend, 803-6344.
My first telephone number, 461.
461? Jeez. Yeah. That's long ago.
But that was the old slinger phone, you know?
Yeah.
And then they upgraded it.
Anita says
they gave us a little.
The punch. And then Anita says the funniest were the farm ones, party lines, eh?
Yeah, that slinger phone.
And you could pick it up and listen to other people's calls. Did you hear that Ricky is having an affair with the pastor?
Nommer asseblief.
Nommer asseblief. Hello, Tanya. So good to see you, says Una. Yay, a lot of people said, Tanya, prayers for your mom, Tanya.
Thank you,
hope your mom feels better.
Thank you.
They were getting into big trouble with Telcom because of porn, thousands. Oh, my goodness. What else we got here? Oh, goodness, you boys were naughty. Poor we were naughty. We were good naughty. We didn't do crime, I don't think. Wishing your. I mean, I don't know if there's a South African. No. I don't know if there. In my defense, in my defense, I don't think there's a South African who hasn't committed a crime of some sort. We all have. All of us. I'm sure of it. Mandy's number was 62761. And Margaret Guider says, your poor mother, I would have given her 60 blue Valium if I were her doctor. He did, by the way. And she enjoyed them. All the mothers were stoned back. That's the big secret back in the 80s. All the mothers, they would have
Valley of the Dolls.
They would get together and they would bring cook sisters and stuff and discuss which the best tranquilizers were, and then they'd all go to the doctor down the road and they're like, wow, I feel good. No. Your mom would come pick you up from school like, hello, my boy. Hello, my boy. All the mothers were like, hello, my boy. Let's go home. I want to sleep. That was the 80s. Mother's Little Helper, man. I think that's it. Oh, it's a pity. Now I don't know how to, like, my brother's gone and I'm just looking at a blank screen where he used to be.
Oh.
That's bad. Eh?
That's so sad.
It's very sad. Very sad. Greg says I lost connection. No, the battery.
He's in Abu Dhabi living his best life.
That's true.
It's okay.
That's true. All right, so I think that's it for today. Look, we were going to have a Sedwana show where we got to tell on each other for 1 hour.
Sorry.
But we can do that on Thursday. We can.
Okay.
I'll tell everyone about your house and your life, and you can tell on me. How's that?
Can I tell on you? Oh my goodness.
Yes,
okay,
you can.
I'm in. That's gonna be fun.
Thursday. Thursday we tell on each other.
Okay, like man. I'm scared, but I'm a bit excited.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Gail says she was once on a return flight from Joburg to Cape Town. On board there were some numbers of a local rock band, Wonderboom. As they were walking down the aisle, I shouted "How's it" to them, and they shouted back. We were all wearing leather jackets. The woman sitting next to me just looked at me. Must have thought we were members of a biker gang. I did fly with a biker gang once. Out of Lanseria, a whole bunch of Krugersdorp Hells Angels or something, Max or whatever. And I knew they were, you could see they were bikers because half of them didn't have their right leg. You know, half the motorcyclists end up losing something. And so about 100 of them at the back of the plane. And as we took off, I've told the story before, as we took off, as the plane left the ground and climbing, at the point where they go like, positive rate of climb, retract the undercarriage. At that point, the bikers at the back, they went, Krugersdorp Hell Angels for the win, hell yeah! Huh, huh. Like that, they went like that. And when they went like that, I swear the whole plane went,
oh my God.
And I turned around and I glared at them. I gave them a proper glare, but I wasn't man enough to say anything, but I gave them an evil eye. Krugersdorp Max or whatever.
Them the bad stare.
I gave them an evil eye. Krugersdorp Max almost cost me my life that day, man.
With a guy that said if it was Krugersdorp, it's the Max.
Yeah, it was. It was one of them. Yeah. Anyway, Emily Hudson says, thank you so much for the lovely laughs again today. See you on Thursday, and baby hearts, love you madly. I was in a really crappy mood today because I got really bad back pain, but I went and got some painkillers.
Thank goodness you went and got something for it.
And a quarter of an anti-inflammatory, and now all of a sudden I got my personality back. Yeah.
There you go. And you see, it's when you leave Sedwana, that's what happens.
Well, we will discuss all of this on Thursday. Margaret says gynecologists were the pushers of the pills, including speed, if they had a little crush on you. Ish.
Oh, what?
The gynae was the
story.
dealer.
It only worked for the ladies in that case.
That's right. Where did the men go? To go to the proctologist? no drugs there. Just a nasty surprise. Or pleasant, depending on your persuasion. All right, I think that's it. So we're done for the day. On Thursday, Alistair, Tanya, and I will take you through the Sedwana adventure that I had. And we're going to laugh, for sure. If we laugh today, we're going to laugh on Thursday. From Primrose Hill, he's the... Oh, you know what?
Look,
There's 7 good reasons to go visit Suzuki Kyalami, by the way, and I haven't given them to you. So I think I need to give you 7 bloody good reasons to go to Suzuki Kyalami and buy your car.
I think
It's great, yeah. And it's time to meet the team that makes Suzuki Rivonia the home of happy customers.
Hi, I'm Jerry, Sales Executive.
Hi, I'm Yvonne.
Hi, I'm Kenny, Sales Executive.
Hi, I'm Sips. I'm the Sales Executive.
Hi, I'm Jason, Sales Executive.
Hi, I'm Gavin. I'm the Sales Manager at Suzuki Rivonia, your home of happy customers.
And now we can say goodbye, I guess. There was something going on. There was a conversation going on there between Alistair and Tanya that I don't know whether we want to... What are you about to say? Actually, no. Don't say what you were about to say, Alistair.
No. I was going to tell you about my Uber driver.
Oh, okay. Quickly, we still got people watching, so you might as well tell us about your Uber driver.
He's looking for a new car. So I said, well, if you want to, go down to Suzuki Rivonia or Suzuki Kyalami and tell them Tom sent you.
Amazing!
That's it! Yeah! Oh, and now today, because Natasha Morrissey keeps watching replays of the show and she says hi, and of course I can't say hi back. She's actually caught us live today. So, hi, Natasha Morrissey. Hello from all of us, and hope your foot gets better and that Natalia is also okay.
Keep dancing, Natasha.
Natasha Morrissey's got a foot problem?
Natalia. No, something dropped on Natasha's foot and Natalia's got some, I don't know. There's something wrong there. We should get them on to explain. Maybe Thursday. Let's see. All right, we're going now? We're going? All right. From Primrose Hill, the only Jameson in Germiston.
The Tom London Show.
Don't forget to make it a double. And all the way down there in Sedwana Bay, if you're looking to live in the middle of nowhere, it's a good start. Tanya Curry from acumenmedia.net. And me. Listen, we love you lots. Yeah, I don't think you know. I don't think you, because people tell me, Tom, there's someone told me the other day, I wait for your show because it makes my day. And I go, thank you. But do you know that we wait for the show because it makes our day too? Most of the time, before the show, we're all sitting here going, and then the show happens, you join us, and we all feel better. And that's what's going to make us healthier and live longer.
Yes.
Amen to that.
From your lips, my friend.
All righty. It's time to go. The sunshine is hitting me from a bad angle now. And it's not my best angle.
Check what Una Guide commented quickly.
All right, check quickly. What did Una Guide say?
We're not going to forget the tattoo thing, Tom.
The tattoo on my bum.
Yep.
I actually didn't learn because the next time I got a tattoo was at the Bremer Flea Market, and the lady told me she was still learning. And when I went down to Sedwana and Tanya saw it, she said, "What's that on your arm?" She thought I had dirt on my arm, and it was
terrible. It's probably the worst tattoo ever.
Worst tattoo under the sun. Well, that's what happens when you let someone who says I'm still practicing do a tattoo on you.
Well, in that case, I would never go to a doctor again because all he does is practice.
Amen, Alistair.
Oh, so funny.
All right. Natasha Natasha says, just love you and Tanya. Not you, Alistair. She only loves us. It's the two of us. We're in Natasha's good books. You're not in her books at all.
Oh,
anyway, all right. Let me feed the birds and have a bath and do whatever I was going to do on Tuesday night. Are we done? I think we're done. Hey, that's enough. As my mother would say, that's enough fun for one day. The Tom London Show was brought to you by Suzuki Rivonia, the home of happy customers.
Tell them Tom sent you.
Yeah.